Hey folks, today is April 7th, 2023, and I am doing another video. I call it a walk in the life of Victor, New York, focused mostly on the village of Victor, where I live. And today I am standing pretty much at the corner of School Street, the Canandaigua National Bank over there, and West Main Street. And I'm starting it off today here because I believe it's a very important thing that people know more about this building, and also the potential of this property and my vision of what Victor should look to do to make it more of a destination place instead of just some place that people pass through. This is called the Dreyer Loomis House. I believe it was 1835 or something. It was built way back when, and it's gone through a lot of different uses. One of the property owners along the way was Joe May, and he really put a lot of money into fixing it up, and he had his plant and garden store here, and everybody remembers that. It was really beautiful when they'd have all the flowers, everything that they were selling out front, and vegetables and things. They would do that in the fall. But he probably overspent and ended up filing for bankruptcy. One of the things that happened. He passed away recently. But if it wasn't for him, I don't think this property would be in such good shape. Along the way, it was also an antique store not too long ago, and I think it was a bridal shop before it became the name Lovely Bridal Shop. But as you can see, it's a beautiful building, and we got granite, I believe, granite steps up here. Wouldn't really be considered handicapped accessible, I don't think. But it's an older building, so they didn't have those kinds of ideas back then. Maybe they have something that I don't know about. But so I'm walking up. Now my idea is this, and I already mentioned it to one of the local business owners, pretty well known and respected in our community. So 1838, Dreyer Loomis House, historic Victor. So this is a place where women that are getting married, young women usually, will have their bridal party come, and they'll pick out their wedding dresses, and they'll get their gowns and stuff for bridesmaids and all that. That's the current use. And my idea, actually I had it over 10 years ago. It was a long time ago, was that this should become sort of, I think it was Peggy's Bridal? I don't know, whatever. Anyway, this should become, okay, let's just go over this building. This was the barn, carriage house. So the people that originally lived here were fairly well-to-do in the area. But I don't know what the gather venue is. This was a bike shop at one time, Trailblazers bike shop. So let's go to the point, is that this property would be ideal because of the lay of the land in the back. If it was done right, this could be more than just for bridal, picking out your dresses and things. Back here, there's enough room, I believe, to put up a couple of not really hotels, but sort of with that flavor. More like, I don't know what you want to call it, but something special for the bridesmaids and the groom's party. Just that small group of people that come before a wedding and meet and have a place, special designated place for them, and that could stay even a few days after, if they want. Sometimes the weddings can be so stressful that the first thing that the bride and groom need to do is find a place to get some rest So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work involved in getting it to happen right, and a lot of stress and anxiety, but so it could be before and after place. I hope you can see it, but the lay of the land is, if they did the right kind of landscaping, it's already sort of set up to make a great place for taking pictures. It could be fairly quiet and secluded. There's quite a bit of room going up the hill here, and how exactly they might go about doing it, I believe it would be a great purpose to have that. Now, I believe Casa Larga, if I remember right, they would charge for having weddings and receptions, like, I don't know, 12,000 just for one day on the weekend. But, so with that in mind, the only ones that I don't think will like this idea is maybe the deer that go across here. But maybe there's a way to make sure they can still go across. But the idea here is, you know, that this might not be the ideal place for a reception, possibly an outdoor reception. There's a room over here in the lawn, but there's other places close by, not too far from the churches. I think we got down here on Main Street, we have the Methodist and the Presbyterian, and just off of Main Street we have St. Patrick's Church. That's down Maple Avenue. And then Willowbrook is up on High Street, and Victor Community Church is not too far away either. So all these different places that could have weddings, but there's no place really that I know of, no really great place to have receptions. So I think you could see right here, I mean, I would basically, even though this is considered a road, and a lot of people don't know it, but it's got its own light. You see the green light there? I would probably keep it this way with the bricks. Or if you did expand the road, well, let's just say that it probably should not be a road. It would be better, I think, like if it goes along with my idea, that they could put up a tent here and have receptions here, wedding receptions. And so it starts off with the bridesmaids and the bride coming here and getting their dresses. And then it goes to when they come to town, they have a place to stay. There's churches in the area, they go and do their rehearsals. There's plenty of places for rehearsal dinners around here. I think I said Dominic from Fire on Main really loved the idea of this, because maybe this wouldn't be even the place for the reception, but he could do something at his place, make a pretty good sized reception. He closes it down for not-for-profit activities occasionally, special events. So he's not beyond the possibility of doing that. Maybe there'll be 2 weddings on a weekend and they'll need another place. So that's another possibility. This could be for outdoor weddings. And so yeah, so I don't know if you all can see how that would be possibly a destination place for Victor, the start to one. So it doesn't end here. We would go down. Now here's slippery when waxed. I don't know. That's something that women like to do, I guess. Endless Roots hair salon. A couple more doors down is a barber shop for the men. Got the Elephant in Victor, New York. A very, very, very popular Asian food, Thai food restaurant out of Geneva, and they got their second location now here in Victor. So awesome food. A lot of people get their stuff to go. There's not a lot of parking, but so they would have a place to go to eat nearby. You know, the bank, No BS Brewery. Maybe the guys will go out and have a few beers here, and that's within walking distance, so they don't have to worry about driving. So let's just say it's a wedding party. I mean, they're already like, wow, cool, let's do this in Victor. Look at all the things we could do. And then down here we have, like I said, the barber shop. And you want to get a pedicure or a manicure or have your nails done. They have that kind of shop right up here. Nails and spa. So can you see how this is? I mean, I'm only about 100 100 yards from the starting property, the Dryer Loomis house. All right, so there's already some good things going on. Like I said, the barber shop is here. Down that way, you've got smoker studio. I guess maybe they might want to get some tobacco products, something like that. But I don't know if they'd want real estate. Maybe they want to move here. I don't know. Investment, Edward Jones. So that probably wouldn't be stuff that the bridal party would do. But over here, we have still within not even 200 yards, we have an ice cream place. And if you know anything about them, it's Molly V's Ice Cream. Homemade ice cream. Got to make sure I don't get hit by a car here. But I'll tell you that, you know, the No BS Brewery, by the way, I mean, it's only a tasting room over there, but they have their main brewery down in Canisius, down that way. I don't know exactly where, but they've won almost every year. They win first prize for some type of beer that they have. And of all of New York State microbreweries. So they don't really have a brewery here, but they have a tasting room. Their main place is down in Canandaigua. Now, what I'm talking about here is Molly's homemade ice cream. The reason I brought up the awards is I would think that these folks would win an award if their ice cream there was competitions for this. This, if you haven't tried it yet, their ice cream is just awesome. So now offering items from Leo Bakery and Deli. So here we are, you know, the bridal party's just like, what could we do in Victor? Heck, there's a whole lot of things you can do in Victor, right? And maybe the rest of the people coming into town, we go to Best Western. There's lots of hotels, motels around here. So as far as finding places for bridal parties, and you know, the main place would be like I said, the Dryer Loomis house if it was built up out back. But you know, there's all kinds of there's all kinds of restaurants, but there's also all kinds of motels and hotels. Fire on Main Street, basically, talking to Dominic, he could potentially, actually, he's considering maybe closing this off, making it more pedestrian friendly, because he's got in and out from the back, and that actually goes along with the access management plan to possibly close this off. But for special events, possibly close this off, or maybe just a section using those cement, I forgot the name of them, but basically to stop cars and stuff from hitting people. Moving that out and having a tent here, small one, would not be able to have a huge wedding reception here, but you can have a small one, you know, and it definitely would be a good place for, you know, the different people coming into town to be able to go and have excellent brick oven fire on Main Street, Victor, New York pizza. Also, he's got a full menu of a whole bunch of other things too. So it started off as Bistro 11, and he's very good, especially with Italian cuisine. So here we are in Victor. Now, this is the idea that, like I said, I came up with 10, 15 years ago, but I've gone to so many meetings. I'll just tell you, I don't really want to go too negative here, but a lot of the ideas I've come up with, they don't even listen to me. If I go to the meetings, I don't know what it is. It's like we've literally, the village and the town taxpayers have literally paid millions of dollars, and we've got probably so far about half of that amount back in grants for revitalizing the village. And experts and plans and proposals and all kinds of stuff. So I want to break through all that, and maybe this will be a good enough idea that maybe they don't even know how. Right now, I don't even think they have any ideas as to how to have a destination place. Victor being a destination place. What is it a destination place for? Maybe Ganondigan. But what if this was the go-to place for people to not only get married, but have their wedding receptions and just celebrate for the whole weekend? for a whole week maybe. Busy Bean Cafe. There's a whole bunch more basil, sweet basils, something. There's bakeries. There's all kinds of really nice things here in the village. But how are you going to draw, enough people to where then these businesses can remain viable and make enough money? And so this is an idea that I had a long time ago that hopefully some people say, yeah, let's make that one of the reasons that people would come to Victor. So we come down over here, we're at the library. Now, one of the biggest problems with the revitalization and pretty much every study is that they don't have enough parking. So this used to be a small lot where people did, the gentleman that owned it did, he was a farmer. He planted his tomatoes and all of his different vegetables for a long time. But the funeral parlor bought him out and put in a nice parking lot for funerals. And it's pretty full when they have the funerals. Well, at first a lot of people started using this, and he just basically said, all right, I'm chaining this off. I don't think he doesn't want to be a good community member, more just along the lines if he has to use his parking lot. You can't have people thinking that they can park here. So yeah, so Jarmu's Funeral Home, Cotton. I hope you don't ever have to use them anytime soon, but if you do, we need them. And I've been to a couple of times, like even I think I mentioned it early, Joe May. He had his funeral. I don't know, not actually a funeral. That's at the graveyard, but where everybody gets together. They came, viewing hours and all that. I don't know what the actual name is. So Victor Farmington Library. So some of these people might be into reading. So they're up over there and they come down here and they just stop in the library. They sign online, or they come and read it, get a few books or whatever. So it might be something that people in the bridal party would even enjoy. I mean, not everybody goes out and restaurants and drinks. They might just be more quiet, introverted people that want to come to the library. I came over here on purpose because this is one of my favorite parts of what the library does now. It's a butterfly and pollinator garden. But anybody who knows anything about the monarch butterfly and pollinators in general is that their populations have been going down. Monarch butterflies are almost on the endangered list. I think the population's coming back, but they plant in the bees, honeybees, need more honeybees. Just for a lot of people don't think about the whole cycle of things, but we need them for our fruits and our vegetables. So this is a good place for education and just, I came here last July, on July 1st, I think it was, and there was a monarch butterfly in here. And I've seen yellowtail swallow. I forgot the name. Anyway, but it actually works. I mean, it's kind of cool. But the flowers, doesn't look too great right now. They could use some volunteers. Go down to the Victor Farmington Library and say you want to help this out and get all these plants going again. But so I'm over here, right? So this isn't over. I'm saying that this whole idea of making this a place to have your wedding receptions is something that isn't just, it just could bring life into the village, especially on the weekends, I guess. Maybe would be the times they do the weddings and stuff. But all week long, like I say, if you can get the people, especially the wedding parties, to come a few days early and leave a few days later, you've got a whole week of potential business for all these different places. So I'm coming over here because this, first off, I have to make it extremely clear when I'm talking about the railroad tracks. From here going towards 251 in School Street, I actually believe it would be a good idea to take out the rails and expand Adams Street. You'd get a lot more parking. Like I said, one of the number one things they need is more parking. I figured it out. They'd get at least 25, maybe 50 new parking spots as part of the use. If this was out, all these businesses along here would benefit. This would be grass from here over. But But I want to make it very, very, very clear, and I'm going to spend a little time on this, that we do not want to remove the rails over here that go to Victor Insulators. Victor Insulators has been in business for, I think, around 130 years. Victor, New York is the epicenter of where somebody invented the wet porcelain insulator that is being used throughout the entire world. They're not all that exciting, but Victor Insulator, that's a huge story. It's one of the things that you would say the reason, you know, Victor, they went through their challenges over the years, but they've been in business. I think they were a Lock Insulator and the Victor Insulators, and they went through a few challenges. The community came together to save them a couple of times, invested in them to keep them going. But now they're one of the last two manufacturers of wet porcelain insulators in North America. And the other one is Lock Insulator, and they don't really do very much. They're out in Leroy. So you could call them the last one in North America, effectively, for most of what we would need to upgrade our grid. If we're going to go green, whether you believe we need to or we don't need to or whatever, just our grid is very important. Having good communications, good electric, and insulators are crucial for that. What if we have trouble with China, which is where most of them come from now, and we're trying to expand the grid, or we have to replace a whole bunch all of a sudden, and we got to get them from China, and we're having a trade war or whatever could happen? This is a strategic interest. I mean, I don't want to blow this up into a huge thing about that, but it's the reason why, if we're going to use government funds to fix rails, this should be priority. Just because of Victor Insulators. Now the rails, the ties, a lot of them are rotted and it doesn't quite pass inspection some places along the way. And yes, I know, you know, the truth is that there'll never be, you know, lots of trains in and out of Victor, which is great. Do we really want a lot of trains? No, but do we want some? Yeah. So for Victor Insulators to remain viable, they say it would be a severe adverse impact not to have rail service. Now they've gotten by for a few years, mostly because it's been subsidized actually by the railroad, because I think they were required. I can get into legal stuff here, I don't know, but that's the only reason that they've been doing well over the last few years, is because it's been trucked in. But the quality control efforts, they've had to amp them up, spend a lot of extra time, because for a while they were coming in with contaminants of moisture can ruin the product that they get. Any kind of dirt, any other kind of thing could be trucked in a bin that had grain in it or something previously. So it's got to be dedicated bins and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, they really do the best way, and really, you know, environmentalists, if you want to go green, did you know that freight, you look it up, don't trust me, look it up. Freight trains, even diesel freight trains use about 20% of the diesel fuel to transport the same amount as you would with trucking. So if you want to go green, you want to reduce the carbon footprint, you want trains. Simple. So here, if you look at my channel, you'll see what I have in mind here. It's big enough space, especially once they take out the rails there, to make this into a great place for our music events. Close off Adams Street, starting right around there, just past the fire department, so the fire trucks can still get in and out down that end if they need to for an emergency, and shut this entire street down for food and music festival and whatever kinds of things might come up in the future. This whole street all the way down to School Street would then becomes more the center. The library doesn't have to, you know, tell people they can't use their parking anymore for events like that. The parking, with 25 to 50 more parking spots over here, it would definitely help that they wouldn't have to shut that down, so that then the whole thing could occur here. It could all occur here. Obviously, you'd have to put some better fencing up, maybe wrought iron fencing like you have over here, come down along the rail and make sure it's safe, that nobody can get onto the tracks, except for maybe here, and that might be by gate. But if you know that the tracks aren't being used because Victor Insulators doesn't have transportation very often, it could be approved and okay that this would just, for events like that especially, just open up the gate and people would be able to go over to what this is going to become. And very few of the community know this is going to become a brewery, actual, brewery where they have, all the tanks and they do the distillery or whatever I forgot what they do for brewers. I'm probably showing my ignorance here, but they're going to make beer here and have, some party. So probably not like New York beer company. Is that it? Up near the mall. Not as big as that, but also there's some grant money coming, so I think they're going to have those roofs fixed. Part of that money will come in, and that'll be coming handy for that. But so this would be a benefit for them too. I don't even know who owns this triangle spot. I think it's actually the folks over here, but it would benefit them to bring the center of the village closer. The library then becomes almost the real center of the village. And this, I call it, just because you remember Gilmore Girls and they had troubadours, and I thought that was kind of cool. People would be walking around the town doing their thing, and there'd be some solo artist singing on the corner and putting out their hat or their little bucket and collecting a little money, and that's how they made their living, and they're called troubadours. So I call this Troubadour Triangle. I don't care what it's called. I just hope that somebody does it. That this then becomes, right here, there'd be the pavilion, it'd be a loading station also. Okay, so now the other thing, what would be another reason Victor could become a destination place? I don't know how many people know it, but train excursions are very successful wherever they're tried out, just for tourism. They used to have, up I think until 2018, the Santa train ran out of Victor, New York. Then the rails got downgraded where they couldn't have slow speed passenger trains. And I think the last train went through here maybe in 2021, maybe even 2022, where they were still storing cars down at that end. I don't know the exact. You talk to friends of the railroad. Joe Richter knows a lot about that stuff. So here, I'm going all over the place, but this is where you'd put the pavilion, okay? The pavilion is a multi-use pavilion. It could be used for train excursions for people loading and unloading. They could do them maybe even monthly, maybe even bi-weekly. If it takes off and it's successful, people will be coming to Victor for train tourism, which would also help out all the other businesses. Down there you have the Black Diamond. That's historic because of the rail that used to go through here. The Black Diamond Railway was basically, when they went and got coal from down around Pennsylvania, they would bring it up through here, and it would stop at Victor Coal and Lumber. That's where they got their coal. But the Black Diamond was the name of the engine. Go in there sometime. They have some pictures on the wall. I mean, it's a bar restaurant, sort of more known for a bar, but I know the owner is a big train enthusiast. And so the Black Diamond restaurant. So the train excursions would run from here. Now this pavilion is multi-use, so it can be set up to where it's already wired and everything, more of a permanent type of a place where bands could play. Doesn't have to just be 1 or 2 times a year. It could be once a month. Like I said, you could close off Adams Street more easily if you want to have multiple events per year. They always have the fireworks right off in that direction, and everybody would be a lot more room for this type of an event for vendors up and down Adams Street, maybe in the parking lot in the library, but maybe not necessarily anymore. This could be the whole event place. Down over here, now just so you know, just because these are ideas I'm throwing out here, it doesn't mean I've actually got permission or even know if any of the property owners would be interested, but I believe this is probably such a good idea that it'd be hard to find anybody who would disagree that something like this could or should happen. Now over here, I think this is private property starting here with the wrought iron fences. But what I see here is, you know, on the other side, starting here is private property. You could still have a gate here, probably open it up if they want. Parking down over here for their businesses, and on the other side, if they do parallel parking on the other side, it would be with a median division or something. I don't know, however they do that. Let the planners do that. But I don't know if anybody noticed, but they have places where people could charge their cars here, because it used to be mechanical electric, so they would have to have battery backup for certain things. Now it's very slow speed. This is not set up for EV. I think it's just 110 15 amp circuits probably, so it would take you 8 hours to charge up. It's not public, so you can't come here and charge your cars just because I'm showing it to you, but it's here already. So change this into, and maybe even take out, you know, where all they have is the boat stored in there. Have that whole section be for EV charge ups. So you go to the library, it takes 2 hours to charge, so you walk over to the library, maybe at the Bistro 11, or, well, now it's Fire on Main Street. You walk around the village for a couple hours, right? This could be a good place for a charging station, and the property owner here should consider it anyway, regardless of whether they do this. The idea I have here, because I think we need it. Not everybody likes electric cars, not everybody's going to get an EV, I don't think, but there's enough out there on the market now, not enough places to charge, and the property owner here could benefit financially probably for doing that. They would probably do well to consider it, at least. So I'm not telling people what to do with their properties, but I'm just sort of saying, hey, it's a community here. Let's talk about things. Let's get a real plan on the table. Let's quit talking about having different people come in with different plans, and they all come up with different results. And, you know, not to say anything bad about the consultants and the people that do that kind of work, but it doesn't seem